Here is Acting Labor Secretary Julie Su discussing the dock worker wage increases. The administration really, I think, both played a role in mediating it, but played a role in terms of like, we're not going to interfere. Like, you guys are at the mercy of these workers here, and we're not stepping in the way that, you would want Donald Trump to.
But the rise of automation in all sorts of areas and robotics, of which we're really just at the beginning, given the rise of generative AI. I mean, I know this is a long-term issue, and obviously we're coming off a very strong jobs number this morning, but I do wonder how, you think about it as the acting labor secretary. I know ultimately, are we still going to have the need for as many jobs in 5 years or 10 years as we do now, given the rise of automation and the rise of robots, frankly, that don't even exist right now, but will certainly be doing many jobs in a number of years?
Yeah, I mean, I think several years, there's a conversation about this. And I think one of the, realities is that in many countries, like, you mentioned in, the port in Rotterdam, in many countries, people aren't as afraid of what's going to happen with automation because there's so much attention to job security, right? We care about people, and that's something that this president has made very clear in his executive order around artificial intelligence, that we want, when we look at AI, to make sure that it is secure and responsible when it comes to workers too. And the specific issue of the ports and the longshoremen, the fact that they have a voice makes a really big difference. We're seeing that in all kinds of industries now. We saw it with the writers and the actors, right? We're seeing it with hospitality workers, where there's a union and where workers can have input into what happens. The outcomes are really good for everybody. We're not going to live in a world where where machines dominate. The other issue is that sometimes that raises national security issues. All of those things are important parts of the conversation.
Yeah, but you do need to get efficiencies if you're going to increase wages by 63% or so over the next 5 years. Are your expectations that wage increase is ultimately going to get passed on to consumers?
Well, I think that it's a false choice to say that either working people can do well or consumers can have things they can afford. And we have seen, again, in this economy where jobs have grown, real wages have grown, inflation rates and interest rates are coming down, that we can build an economy where everybody gets a piece of it. Everybody gets to share in the American dream. That is fundamental to the economic policies that we have pursued. There are choices that are made all the time, including by corporations, many of whom do a great deal to benefit our economy. But having to say that, if I'm going to share the tens of billions of dollars in profit with workers means that I'm going to have to charge more for my products is not a choice. It's not the only choice. The other issue here is, monopolistic behavior, right? This is why we believe that we shouldn't have big corporate monopolies, because people should have a choice. Competition helps to ensure that prices also stay fair. And so that's why we're so committed to, battling inequality on all fronts.
First of all you need to do right now, and Bradley, I don't know, Bradley, I can send you this link, but I mean, it's super easy to find anything to this effect. The profits that they have made over the past couple of years have been extraordinary. So you don't need to cut. You don't need to have increased efficiencies to pay your labor more. Yeah. You just need to have a reasonable amount of profits. On top of which, she's talking about these monopolistic behaviors. In addition to there being plenty of money to pay their workers, it's just a question of just how greedy were you going to allow shippers to be. This is just one story. They have made a ton of cash in 2023. Look at those profits.
That's September 2023 on the end and up through March of 2024. You can see. Look at how
far up that goes.
Yep.
I mean, their profits have been surging. So they have plenty of money. There's other. Where was the other one?
The automation piece, she also
global
points out.
container profits surge amid rising rates and record volumes. This is just from a month ago in global trade. They're just making a ton of money. So you don't need to pass expenses on to consumers because it's really just a question of like, how extraordinary your profits are going to be. But also keep in mind that because we have allowed the merging of various shipping companies, they go and make bigger ships because it decreases it increases their profitability. But when they make bigger ships, suddenly you cannot dock these ships in as many ports around the country because you need deeper water, essentially, for a ship that big. And so when we allow the consolidation of all these companies, we're ending up making it more expensive, weakening our logistics and our national security, frankly. If we're not getting whatever it is, if we're not able to have shipments of food in certain instances or other products in other instances, because, we only have 3 ports that can handle all the ships, it puts us in a precarious position. So it's both about sharing the profits from these shippers for workers, and it also should be about inhibiting their ability to consolidate in the way that they have been over the years.
And that's also the other piece that's still being negotiated in addition to the wage hikes. It seems like the new offer is a 62% increase due to the White House's pressure. Great job here. The initial offer was 50% and the union had been seeking 77%. So it's in between those. But as you mentioned, Biden could have used Taft-Hartley to force them back to work, and he didn't, which is a good thing. But the other piece that is at issue there, and of course the CNBC anchors are framing it from the perspective of the business, is automation. And I think in terms of like this period where they're going to be negotiating prior to the deadline, if they were going to go on another strike, which is January 15th, that will be a big part of it. Protections from automation and AI that protect workers from being outsourced to cheaper machinery and protecting their jobs and giving them more security. So she's getting a lot of credit, I think, from the union, Julie Su, for her work on this front and her support of the union. It's a stark difference from what we'd see in any Republican administration, but particularly Trump and Vance.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.